Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry channel, and with me tonight are Minions 3, Serenity Star 13,
Hello,
DrFunctional, and SkepTok.
Hi, everybody.
So, before anybody asks me...
Where do we start?
Before anybody asks me, how was your week, Harry? I can tell you I had kind of an odd encounter yesterday. I went to the motorcycle hospital to have my motorcycle worked on. And I mean, most of the stuff is stuff I can do myself, but I like to have somebody else take a look at the brakes. Somebody who knows more about brakes, because I don't want to die because of bad maintenance. So I take it to the pro, and it was going to take 3 hours to have all the stuff done. This was an intermediate service. Okay. Had to do more than just oil change. And so during that time, essentially, there were two people that sat across from me in the waiting area, and they both took about an hour and a half shift. I swear, I was in what's that thing with the thinking, emoting, judging, Myers-Briggs, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was in full-on Myers-Briggs E mode. Okay.
Okay.
I talked to the first guy for an hour and a half. And probably there was no lull in the conversation. And then I talked to the second guy for an hour and a half, gave him some job advice.
Yeah,
he was talking about trying to find a religion that he wanted, and I started giving him some advice on, well, I'm not going to tell you which religion to get, but I can tell you how you might want to think about deciding which one is better than the other one for you, you know. Got into all kinds of this weird conversation about anything and everything. I spent 3 hours doing that. I felt like I'd actually hosted one of the shows. It was weird. And the odd thing was, you know, in my sort of semi-professional status, I always try to do callbacks because I admire comedians and I think callbacks are fun. Just tie a little bow on the conversation. So with the second guy, the first topic that we talked about, I did a callback right at the end as I said goodbye to the guy, and he noticed that I did it. He said, like, I see what you just did there. I said, yeah.
Nice.
Busted. Yeah. So one of the conversations, one of the things that stuck out was this guy was saying, I feel guilty about being here having them work on my motorcycle. I said, nah, dude, this is just cheap insurance on staying alive. You know, I said, do you rent a house? Do you rent or do you have a house? And he said, I rent. I have an apartment. I said, you don't have room to work on a motorcycle anyway. I said, do you DoorDash? He said, oh, do I DoorDash? I said, if you want to save money, learn how to cook. Just learn how to cook basic stuff.
No
and DoorDash on special occasions when you want to be nice to your lady friend. Or you're just that exhausted or you're sick or something. But just if you want to cut down on money, don't
eat out.
Don't try to find some corner of the parking lot that you're not supposed to do maintenance in to start tearing your bike apart. For the first time, you just learn to cook, make a pot roast.
Don't spend $3.75 for a soda.
Yeah, just get a crock pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, I hear that.
Yeah.
So anyway, what?
Go. You can be next.
What is your conclusion about all the things that have happened to you today? What did you conclude from this? What did you go away from it with?
You mean the things that happened today?
Yeah, you said you wanted to talk about the things that had happened to you.
Oh, this is what happened to me yesterday.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit about things that have happened today, because that's actually the mostly peaceful protest type stuff. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about politics, but I don't see how we can avoid it.
Yeah.
Considering that I had to... as I was leaving to go home, I had to drive past a bunch of pasty white people holding these signs. And it annoyed me enough that I'm like, okay, we got to talk about this a little bit. But we have to say hi to...
talk about the war in the Middle East, too.
Oh, but, well, we can a little bit, but I
just mention it.
Really don't want to. So, Functional, I feel like you want to say something.
I just wanted to ask you a question. Were the gentlemen you were speaking to, like, younger than you?
Oh, yeah, much younger than me.
Much younger, okay.
And the kind of people that just based on appearance, you would not necessarily think we would sort of hang out together. But sure, I'm just that outgoing.
I just find, even in my not so young older years, a lot of younger people do tend to ask me questions like that, and it's really something like new, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the second of the two guys was less of a hooligan and more of a technical kind of guy. He was getting ready. He was getting ready to go to Japan, and so I was talking about his girlfriend. And I said, "Is your girlfriend 3-dimensional?" He said yes. I said okay, but I actually gave him some job advice because he's working in an aviation related thing, but his job's going nowhere. I said, look up Joby Aviation. They're setting up air taxis and stuff, and they've got offices here, and here. You could just go. You could just stay in aeronautics and have a more interesting job. He's like, hey, thank you. It's like, sure. This is what I do. I just give people advice about religion and cooking and job placement advice. Sorry, that's a lot about me. I apologize. What was your question, Functional?
No, you covered my question. I just wanted to know if they were younger.
Yeah, no, they were easily half my age. Just young guys.
Yeah.
So me just giving advice. So
like you always do.
But it was like doing a 3-hour show because it was just a lot of talking. And I was there, had my laptop ready, was logged into work. I was there to make a little bit of money on the side. No, didn't do any of that. I spent 3 hours talking to random patrons at the motorcycle place.
That's interesting.
I don't think most people are quite that gregarious, though.
No, there's something kind of zen about doing like life counseling at a motorcycle place. I really like that combination. It's very satisfying.
It's very zen in the art of motorcycle repair.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah, exactly. So Functional.
I read that when I was actually stationed. That's when I read that, was when I was living in California, and I got entrusted with that bike for 3 months.
Yeah. No, I mean, and Zen stuff is pretty interesting.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that.
Well, we don't. I mean, and also, I can't tell you every single thing I said for 3 hours, or we would be here for 3 hours. So that's I don't think anybody wants that. So hi, Dr. Functional.
Hi.
What do you want to share with the class?
Exciting day.
Yeah. Go.
Not as exciting as your day. I had a Warhammer game and quickly rushed home after that and had a Warcraft game that I was scheduled with some people, and so I had a busy day of not doing anything but leisure activities.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. Warhammer's always good because like you get to meet new people, and like you with the motorcycle, there's that commonality of the game, the motorcycle, whatever. Like there's that sort of commonality, and people just get to talking, and you swap some interesting stories, like war stories, life stories. A lot of the people I play are on the younger side as well, and sometimes they'll ask, oh well, what do you think about this or this or this, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Life sucks. What are you gonna do about it except for be your best? That's it. Yeah.
Well, one of the guys did say, "Hey, that show you host, that sounds kind of interesting." I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't cross the streams. People who I see in real life don't participate in the show." I try to not cross the streams as best as possible, because if I start making exceptions, it's going to get messy. Because I'm going to say something, and then somebody's going to get pissed off at me. God knows I'm going to say some things tonight that my IRL friends would not appreciate. So let's just keep those streams not crossed. Hi, Serenity.
Hello.
You're about to get more rain.
Oh, yeah, for like a week.
Yeah. I was looking at the weather and going, Jesus.
We are very green still.
You are very green.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for a week of rain? Is it going to be a problem?
No. This is a little bit off season for us because normally we've started to hit it's a dry season for us normally, but
does your grass turn in the summer, Serenity? Does it turn brown, or does it stay green all summer?
It will usually turn brown around late July, early August, and stay that way till about September. This year I don't think that's happening, because normally we've started to dry off by now, because normally by the end of May we've stopped with a lot of the rain, but we're still going, and it's halfway through June, so I think I think the grass will have soaked up enough that it's probably going to be green for the rest of the year.
Your reservoirs will be burgeoning.
The Ohio River's already up. The Ohio River's already up.
I'm sure.
By a few. But yeah, so far it's just we're in the words of Perry, we are Grinch green.
Nice. I saw a video that somebody took from Kentucky, and I was looking at that going, huh, that looks amazing. That looks otherworldly, how green that is. Places that aren't California are just like surprisingly green all the time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing around here is like you get kind of used to it, and then we turn red, golden, orange in the fall time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the whole Golden State thing. If you know about the golden hour in photography, right? Like yeah, okay. So it's in the evening as the sun gets really low and it starts to become more reddish. The light becomes more reddish, and it gives kind of this golden hue to the light going across the land. So they call it the golden hour. California, when it's gold, when the things stop being green, and you're going through the rolling hills in the golden hour, is pretty stunning. Mm-hmm. Because it's just gold on gold. It's gold squared, and we all know gold is best. And it is pretty awesome. But
Harry,
yeah,
when I first reported to my ship out there, the first time I entered that part of California, I drove through those golden hills. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
just out there off 580. For the first time during the golden hour toward the sun, toward my destiny, toward my ship, over somewhere in this place called Oakland. That was just a place on a map to me. Just brought back.
Oh, you were going west on 580.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. But it wasn't 580 then either.
No.
I was coming over from, I think I took the Grapevine on 99, maybe cut over and hit 101. Anyway.
Well, there's pretty much beauty to be found anywhere if you just kind of keep your eye open for it and have an open mind.
When I saw those hills and the sun coming up, setting behind them, it was just, it's overwhelmingly beautiful. You're not overstating how beautiful.
No, you pretty much have to be dead inside not to just kind of go, oh my.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
The first time you see that, it's just like, oh my.
God, yes.
Yeah. But I like green too.
Yeah. Check out the crowd we have in chat. Did you see that?
That was almost seamless because you knew what I was going to ask you to do.
I could hear the intake of breath.
Yeah.
But, we've got Mike R here and Mr. Yes. Hello, guys. JB is here. Welcome, JB.
And I'm singing to JB as we speak.
Well, very good. Anyway, thank you all for coming out and seeing us. Hello, Mr. Yes. We do the show for you and for us, and we appreciate you being a part of the show. So thank you for coming out and chatting with us and being a part of what we do once a week.
And you sneaky lurkers, I see you and welcome you.
Well, Skep,
don't feel ignored.
I know you want to talk about the situation with Iran and Israel.
Well,
and I just want to say, hold on, just let me preface.
To explain one.
No, it's fine. I'm going to give you the talking stick in a moment. I just want to say that the only reason I didn't really make it a topic is because it's one of those things I don't feel like I can add to really.
It's sprawling,
and there's so much fog of war still that we just don't know, and I don't want to add to the bullshit in the universe. But I don't want to prevent you from talking about things you want to talk about. So you have the talking stick. Go.
Well, essentially, Israel is owning the Iranians right now. And one of the things that they did was they got all their generals together in one room and blew up the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not the building, the room.
The room.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So in any case, what people have been saying, that couldn't have happened. That's impossible to do. How could Israel force them all to go in the same room? That's not what they did. That's not what they did at all. MotZ found out what their standard emergency procedures were, and they noticed that one of them was all these guys get together in this room and meet and then go to their individual units. And since they said, well, that's when we should kill them. And so as soon as Israel attacked, this went on, and they had somebody inside who reported, okay, they're in the room, and voila, They have no general staff in the Air Force as a result. That really happened.
It
That's
did.
well documented.
It did. You remember it was about 6 months ago. There were a couple sailors. No, there's one in particular who sold. He was stationed in the Bay Area, and he sold information to the Chinese, and it was about like maintenance and operation procedures. The stuff that seemingly is like, oh well, that's not like real. No, it is.
No,
because any little piece of information, no matter how benign it seems, that you give to the enemy, it's like if they want it for a reason. And that's why treason is like a big deal. That person committed treason, and it's real treason. Just because you think the material that he gave to the Chinese was boring, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's just because you have a lack of imagination about how that could be used.
Absolutely right.
I've seen a lot of people too, Skep, saying, why is Israel starting a war? Forgetting the last 4 years of and more than that, but most notably the last 4 years of Iran funding 3 separate terrorist organizations who are constantly pelting Israel with rockets. They did not start this. I'm a little I wish Bibi did not say we were going to go to war, but he did. It's not my, I don't have a say in the matter. But like, let's look at it from an objective point of view. I'm neither pro nor against Israel. I think every country should have, their own rights to defend themselves from whatever. And I still see this recent activities over the last decade as still being, they may do preemptive strikes to defend themselves.
Well, and us, because you could arguably say that the Israelis are functioning as our proxy the same way Hezbollah and the Houthis are proxies for the Iranians. That would not be unfair.
The West funds them. Yeah, that's why US, Canada, the UK, obviously the US most of all, but all these Western countries do sell them arms at a very, very cheap price.
But the Israelis are no joke on their own.
they're no joke on their own. Not only that, by themselves, in and of themselves, they're doing this to Iran. They're doing the world a service. Every single country on this earth is going to benefit. Now, I promise you, in places like Riyadh and Amman, they are jumping up and down for joy that this ass whooping is going on, and that Iran is going to be defanged. It's not going to destabilize the region because they've got money to make, and Iran is really starting to get in the way.
And the people of Iran, the more secular people who aren't part of this caliphate, this uber Islam caliphate, because people who are younger tend to forget in the 70s they were on track to being a Western nation, meaning they had democracy. Women they weren't equal to men, but they were getting there. They had more freedom than they do now, that's for sure.
They could be doctors. They could get university degrees. They were, in all the ways that mattered, full functioning, card-carrying members of society.
And then the caliphate took over and ruined it.
Well, the problem with getting the revolution to work in Iran is that the people who want the revolution is roughly half the population, not the half of the population that has a lot of power. The people who are the liberal, the progressives, are routinely marginalized, and you have to be part of the Islamic Board, the crazy, insane 12er Shia bullshit, Borgosky thing that culminates in that hideous Khomeini heading up the government.
He's like 85 now or something. It's just
exactly. He there are a lot of people who would like to see the current power structures preserved. They want status quo. They like the way they make their money, and they are the ones who have the power, the ones who have control of the army. They're the ones who can make things happen.
And
you would have to militarily destabilize them, I think, to cause a revolution, a coup in government.
Well, what the Israelis did, we'll have to do for the time being, because
Yeah,
it's the best we can
this is not
do
going
under
to
the
cause a revolution,
circumstances.
in my
But
opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
You
They
heard-
also. Oh,
I just
sorry.
want to go on.
well, I wanted to ask you, Skep. Do try to get a little closer to your mic. I think I can hear you.
Sorry.
You're getting a little too comfortable, and you get just further and further.
No, a dog got in the way of the mic. I have a new puppy.
Dogs are great.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a new.
Look, Dad, I'm helpful.
Rescue. Yeah, exactly.
Kefki is staying in chat. Also, hi Kefki. That they have heard that there are videos of Iranians celebrating the destruction of the nukes. Now, once again, it's the internet, so God knows if it's actually real, but
that probably is happening. I actually saw video from Tehran today that showed women going out in Western garb and just on the street, and nobody
uncovered.
Was, yeah, uncovered as it were, and they were partying it up in a bar and hooping it up, and they were dressed like regular people. They just looked like Western.
Yeah, because these surgical strikes and taking out a lot of the leadership and proving like, hey, this is happening. They are no longer opposing because the caliphate,
though. That's
that's true. There's still a lot of work to be done for them. I'm not saying us, but for them, because the other side has that also in addition to what Skep was saying, that level of zealousness, committal to the cause of the caliphate and
fanaticism. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, and so having these top military brass taken out has sort of given the other side, the more Western side, a little bit of a morale boost while demoralizing the caliphate side. So we'll see. Hopefully it plays out and it doesn't we don't lose too many civilians because war's bad.
Right now the caliphate side is feeling very fucking threatened, and I think they're fixing to clamp down. It's going to be a very interesting international situation if they suddenly start have people swinging from cranes all over Tehran after this is over. When it comes time to pick up the pieces and the world starts leaving Iran alone again, they might just really come back on these.
Yeah.
Well, they might be a little busy trying to find new staff for a bit. Maybe that'll slow them down. Hey, Serenity.
Yo.
Do you recall the story from, I don't know, probably like 3-4 years ago? Like way in the way back when I was telling you about how there was one asshole in Pakistan that essentially gave the plans for nukes to the rest of the Islamic world?
Yeah, I think
you recall that story? Because it would be a different thing if it wasn't for the fact that one guy in Pakistan got all the funding he needed, came up with a design for what we think is a working bomb, and gave it to everybody. So when all this non-proliferation stuff really matters, because it's not like they have to get material and then figure out how to use it. They already know how to use it. They just have to get the material. So that's why the world is so freaking dangerous.
Well, they have to get the material, but it's the thing that a lot of civilians and a lot of governments forget is that the big money sink for nukes isn't making them. It's still a money sink, don't get me wrong. A money and time sink. But keeping the nukes to a viability level of usage is also a massive money sink. It's the reason why there's speculation that certain countries, both ending with A, most of their nuclear arsenal is dead because they haven't kept the money up to keep the nukes to the working order that they have, like we do and many other countries do.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, I understand we don't want anybody getting the ability to make nukes. I understand that, but it's also like a lot of these countries do not understand how much it takes to keep this kind of stuff up and in working order.
There are rumors in Russia that there are nukes that don't have cores anymore. The cores stolen and sold.
I've heard I've heard two rumors on that one. The one you just said, and the one that they were never actually installed because the money was grifted and they were just made false reports that they were put in. So they were never made in the first place. Whether they're actually true or not, we probably won't find out for decades. But that's the rumors, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that things, when I jokingly, well, half jokingly say we really do live in the best timeline, I mean it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many ways things could have gone so much worse before now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, but what about World War II? What about World War II? I can imagine it would have going much worse than it did. You know, I'm not saying I wanted bad things to happen. I'm just saying probably this is the shitty world we don't even deserve. That's pretty crazy.
Hitler successfully invades Britain, and Britain surrenders to him, and that he consolidates his power base. And then he's got what it takes to take it to Russia. And he might have been king of the world. His health probably wouldn't have held out, but it is.
Yeah, it could have been way worse.
At one point, there were probably 50 or 60 guys in the RAF who saved the world.
Yeah. Just like God, what was it? The Greek naval battle against the Turks, where the leader in Athens basically said, no, we're just going to pull out of Athens and make them chase us out into the ocean, and then we're going to clobber them. Most people couldn't get past their own ego to give up their capital. That's not a thing that a normal person does, but that one guy made that one decision, and the course of human history changed forever because of that one decision, because Greece would have fallen.
Yeah.
If he hadn't made the right choice in that one thing. There aren't a whole lot of spots where you can go, this one thing changed everything. Everything.
And JB, I understand where you're coming from, but you have to understand cultural control and scientific control, like civilization-wise, are two massively different things. Backward societies that believe in holding everyone else back culturally are not going to be stupid enough to hold everyone back scientifically, or at least not the right people scientifically. They're not that stupid. Iran is a lot of things, and they can be very stupid, but they're not that stupid. They know they have to keep pace, which is the reason why they keep trying to force the issue. I understand where you're coming from, but cultural and scientific / militarily intelligent are completely different beasts.
You know, one thing about Iran is they have a tremendous capacity for missiles.
Yes.
They can produce everything really but an intercontinental ballistic missile. And this has been an ongoing thing. They've spent years and billions, and I mean billions of dollars to get the technology, to get the all the things they have had to get together to cobble together their missile program. And they've got some very impressive missiles with some very impressive features, electronics on them that make them peers with the United States. And those missiles they're sending to Israel, it's a good thing Israel is intercepting those. They would ruin Tel Aviv. They would have ruined that city.
Yeah. And Kefki, honey, I understand where you're coming from. I really do. This shit has been going on for decades. It's a lot easier to see with social media now. And it's a lot easier to scare with it. But this kind of crap has been going on for... A version of it's been going on since human beings learned to stand up upright and make buildings and talk. Like, I hate to break it to you. Well, I understand where you're coming from. It just feels like it's a lot closer because social media makes it feel like it's on your front doorstep, and it's really not.
Yeah.
And Kefki, don't worry about anything, honey. I'll give you a hug.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay.
And you sailor boys, Skep, the Fifth Fleet in the Persian Gulf and surrounding area have also been doing an amazing job shooting down some of these rockets.
That was the funny part. That was the other funny part.
Iron Dome and the Fifth Fleet, they've been doing work.
Oh, that was the funny part about...
best kind of drill too.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing like real life.
But the funny part with the internet was like they were like, what? America's helping. It's like, yes, because Israel's still our ally, you dumbasses.
Yeah, like, an official ally, unlike some other countries where it's gray area at best.
Yeah, we're officially best friends.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like they were like, oh yeah, it's like Iran's going to get what they want and Israel's going to get screwed over. I'm like, no, they're not. We're not friends with Iran. Just because we don't backtalk them all the time doesn't mean we're friends with them or allies. We're still friends and allies with Israel. Chill the F out. You idiots.
And I hate it when people misquote the Israel is our greatest ally in the Middle East. They always cut off the in the Middle East part, because no, I think that the UK and Canada are probably closer allies, but the quote is they're our greatest ally in the Middle East because they are this tiny sliver surrounded by, let's face it, America's enemies, because these people have declared jihad. It's not the same as declaring war. It's their version of it. Plus, if you read the Hadith, if you read the Quran, you know that if you are not one of them, you are their blood enemy. It says it in their most holiest of books, and these are the people you're dealing with. Sure,
it's Sora 5, by the way, in Quran. If you want to look it up.
I don't think you guys are helping cheer Kefki up at all.
Actually, Kefki said thank you and hugs Mr. Yes. So we're gonna go with what we got to go.
I want to address JB's comment and Kefki as well. So that's part of why I mentioned the thing about Pakistan is that Pakistan worked out, basically gave everybody the plans. Yeah. And the Iranians definitely have very smart people. Now, I don't think that they're holding on to as many of them because honestly, a lot of those people are passing away because they're old. All of those great technical minds are going away. And I don't think they're able to replenish their intellectual capital in their current way of being the way that they used to.
Chief nuclear scientist was killed in his room.
Yeah, I think they're really struggling to have those kinds of people, and over time, their technical capital is diminishing.
If they can't turn them,
but the fact that they gave this stuff away, right? All of the technical work's been done for them. All they have to do is basically get their hands on the stuff and you enrich the uranium.
Put it into practice.
Okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
And as far as maintaining the things go, Serenity, I don't think they're planning on hanging on to it for very long. That's what I'm afraid of. I think they have like they have a plan of action, and because these people are nuts. But I have to make Kefki feel better. Honestly, Kefki, the only thing that you need to worry about is
pizza.
Every day when you wake up, think about what stuff's important to you and who's important to you and where you can get barbecue. And if you just handle those things sort of in that order, I think you're going to be fine.
Oh my God.
Barbecue
subtle for bad
just focus.
Don't
subtle as hell, Harry.
Yeah, subtle as hell. Barbecue will make everything feel better. Even if it isn't better, it'll feel better.
Subtle as hell, Harry. Subtle as hell.
Hey, every time I read an article about a barbecue place moving to where Kefki is, I think of Kefki, and I think it's going to happen. We're going to take care of Kefki. It's going to be fine.
Take care of Kefki.
So,
hi, Raymond Lewis.
So did you see the article that I'm sharing? You can tell when war is breaking out because the Pentagon's pizza orders spiked drastically.
Well, I mean, I don't blame him. Mind you, I'd want Chinese food because if I'm going to go down, I want Chinese food. Not Domino's.
Well, I mean, if you're working a lot of late nights and
that's what that is exactly.
Yeah, this is like, well, we got shit to do. We're not going home. Might as well throw on another layer of deodorant and order some pizza because that's what's going to happen. This doesn't surprise me in the least. This is the lightest piece of news surrounding the thing we were just talking about. Yeah, pizza orders. I wonder, I bet it would probably be pretty good business to run a pizza place that's within delivery range of the Pentagon.
Well, the thing is, Pentagon has a fucking cafeteria, a good cafeteria.
Is it open 24 hours?
I believe it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it would need to be.
Well, the guy, oh God, what is the name of the chef? The British chef who was like part of the royal, who has who did the
Give me another hint.
I know I'm trying to. He had a Food Network show that doesn't tell you anything. He's the one who would go in and help a lot of the restaurants. Once again, doesn't help anything.
Is it not Gordon Ramsay or is it that other guy?
No, it's the other guy.
It's the other guy.
Head, the biceps,
the guy with the questionable CV. He may have lied a little bit about some of his background.
Robert Irvine.
He may have embellished his CV just ever so slightly, but he seems to do good work.
What chef hasn't? I'm sorry, most of them have.
I believe everything Functional's ever said about being a chef.
No, I'm not talking about Functional. I'm talking about like the big ones, like Ramsay and Irvine.
I'll bet you Jacques Pepin has never embellished his accomplishments because he just doesn't have to.
Yeah, some of them just don't have to, exactly.
There aren't many people that just like, I'm kind of in awe of their talent, but he's like one of them.
Marco Pierre White.
I was watching one of these cooking competition things, right? And they get to the end of it. And they say, okay, so whoever wins this challenge gets a free consultation with our expert that we're bringing in. And it's, you don't know who it is, right? And it's like, and it's Jacques Pepin. So they bring Jacques Pepin in, and the winner is talking to him about what he should do in the final part of the competition. And Jacques gives him advice, and the guy decides, no, I'm going to win or lose on my own terms, and I'm going to ignore what Jacques Pepin is telling me to do. And he lost. It was very satisfying watching him lose. It's like, yeah, that was good. Yeah.
The universe is in proper order.
Yeah, the universe is in proper order. He's a good dude. Anyway, I don't know. Can we possibly change topic? Let's try to change topics.
Enough. Enough pain.
Well, okay. So there's the protesters, and they're holding up these signs as I'm driving by them on my little motorcycle, and a bunch of these signs talk about democracy. Right. And we all know here, because we're all smart people on the Saturday show and then in the panel and the chat, we are the sophisticated people. We know that we live in a republic, right? Yes. A constitutional republic. And these useful idiots are out there talking about democracy. It's like, wait a second. You do not understand what you're saying. If we lived in a democracy, there would be nothing stopping the 70% of people who want to rein in immigration from doing whatever the hell they want to do. It's only the annoying checks and balances that are slowing them down right now. You are actually asking for the opposite of what you want.
What you want. That's it. Irony is not lost.
Well, I think it's lost on them. They think that somehow it's not democratic. Trump won with a majority. They have a majority of the House of Representatives. They have a majority of the Senate. 70% of the people agree with what's being done vis-a-vis immigration. But they want a democracy. In a democracy, he could just have a stroke of his pen, and if all of these people forced out simultaneously, there'd be nothing to stop him. Because the mob in democracy is capable of absolute brutality with 50.0001% of the vote.
They can vote to get rid of the 49%.
You absolutely do not want to live in a pure democracy, ever.
No,
ever.
Mob rule.
They always devolve into warlords, basically. You get clumps.
Yeah.
Basically killing people.
But I'm on the right side of things. Great. Well, for how long? Are you sure you're not going to wake up and be persona non gratis tomorrow? No, all the sloganeering that they're doing with this completely organic and not at all centrally planned set of protests is pretty bad. It's a lot of just really shitty slogans, but they're just lopping it up. They're lopping it up.
Well, we'll see what comes from it, because they've said they're following the money, the FBI, and they're going to start going after people who are doing this.
To that point,
a lot of it in lefty union organizations. Okay, I know that one of them was a lefty.
Well, you have to go back to Serenity in a moment, but to the point of the money thing, I was thinking about this on the way home. I think that they shouldn't necessarily do anything about the money, except they should throw a huge amount of sunlight on it. They should just come out and let everybody know where the money is coming from, because suppressing speech is bad, but letting everybody know this is who's paying for this stuff. Those pallets of bricks didn't show up all on their own. This is not some organic grassroots
thing. They found the guy who was delivering them.
Yeah.
And they matched him back, and he is an official in this California union political group.
Well, Serenity is being very kind and polite. What did you want to say?
Well, the thing is like, it's very funny because they literally have books that have told them that popular rule is bad. Like, the entirety of the Hunger Games kind of talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
And how people go along with it because they don't know any, and so you have who still have the popular vote, or have the populist control. They're like, well, they're the tiny ones because nobody else wanted it. It's like, yeah, but you're not understanding. They got there on the popular vote. Jennifer Collins can rewrite it and play all the bullshit games she wants to, where she tries to sit there and go, no, this talk about fascism and all this kind of stuff. It's like, honey, that's still they had to get there on popular vote. at some point.
Yeah.
The Nazis got there on a popular vote.
Hamas got there on a popular vote, and then they said, we're not having any more votes.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, the only way these people get in power is that they wipe out the competition and just take power, or they do it the other way, which is you trick a bunch of people, get the popular vote, and then get in power, and then you go, fuck you, we're not doing anything you said you wanted
Mahmoud
to do.
Abbas, now in the 18th year of his 2-year term as president.
I mean, Xi Jinping, the morons who run Putin, North Korea, like all of them. It's like they had to gotten the popular vote at some point. Just like, it never enters their head because they just think they stormed the Capitol and took power. And it's like that's a lot harder to do if you actually know history. You have to get the populace to believe that you're doing something correctly, which I kind of think is what they think Trump is trying to do. But that didn't work because he's already done it once and then left, even though he stomped his feet a little bit. And then he came back and won the election again, just with a term in between. But it's like y'all hate the popular people.
Yeah. Oh, I have something. I have something for you. Oh, well, I mean, I have something for all of us, but I think I want to start with you anyway. So there's an event that happened in California. I think it was in California. And Alex Padilla, the senator who was appointed.
Oh, him, yes.
Okay. He basically went to a news conference that Kristi Noem was giving, talking about the deportations and Homeland Security, and decided to have like a little event, right? And it was very clear from the way, okay, I'm going to show you the event from two different perspectives. I'm going to show you the event from the perspective of, we want to make Kristi Noem look bad. And then I'm going to show you the part that they left out. And you can decide what giant pieces of shit the press are. And then we can talk about what actually happened. But let me show you the two views. So this is like the optometrist, right? So A, B, A, B. Okay, so here's A. Let me make sure we've got sound. Come on. Do we have sound?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla.
Okay, so you go to the beginning, and where do they start the video? They start the video, let me see, scroll back. This is important. Where they start, it really matters.
Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is...
Okay, so make a note of where he was standing and what he's wearing, and the point at which he announced who he said he was. Okay, so the fun part is he gets pushed out into the hall, and he sort of at some point stopped resisting, and they put him in handcuffs. But they removed him from this place where he just was not supposed to be. Okay. I mean, obviously my prejudices on this are, apparent. I can't pretend that they're not there, but... And here's the part you didn't see. Load, you ask.
Country and what they have tried to insert into
I don't know
the
what you
city.
consist
So I want to say thank you to
exaggerated
every single person that has been able to do that.
Hands up.
Also,
You see what happened? She was busy talking. She had the talking stick. And he's not supposed to be there. This is a press conference. If he wants to talk to her as a senator, there's a process for that. They haul her ass in front of the Senate, and they put people under oath, and then they ask them questions, not show up at her news conference, make a disturbance, looking like Joe Schmo, by the way.
Yeah, permission to make a comment.
Yeah.
This obscure asshole was appointed by Gavin Newsom. He's not elected.
No.
This guy's not a popular guy. He's an old Paul who's been sucking dick for a long time and got a reward. He finally got his hush puppy. And now he gets to be a senator, and now he's acting like the scumball that he is. That's just my opinion. I wanted to get that out.
Well, I had people contacting me thinking that it was like a gotcha, right? Hey, Harry, how do you feel about this thing? They took Alex Padilla and they arrested him. It's like, the way I see it, everybody got what they wanted. Okay, there are no losers here. Alex Padilla got what he wanted. He didn't get actually hurt. Kristi Noem got what she wanted, and everybody who looks at it, not a single person's mind is going to be changed by this.
Absolutely.
Now, if they had taken him out and given him a little stick time and beaten him up or something, I would be right there saying, you just violated this man's Fourth Amendment rights, your qualified immunity is null and void, and have some fun in a place with no sky, right? I would be happy to do that, but they didn't. They pushed him out when he wouldn't do the thing, and then he resisted a little bit, and then they let him go. They didn't arrest him. They just removed him from the area. He wasn't supposed to be there. just because he's a senator doesn't mean he's allowed to go wherever the hell he wants and interrupt things. It's like,
Well,
he doesn't, journalists don't get to go into the Senate and start shouting questions at people and then expect not to be removed. It's like, dude, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. It is literally not your turn to talk.
in his own words, he was 2 doors down in the same building,
Yeah.
heard that Gnome was giving this speech, and decided he needed to stand up for the people or whatever.
So it's second degree stupidity, not first degree stupidity.
Yes,
First,
exactly.
Yeah.
My first point, yes, very stupid. My first
Manslaughter of
point,
thought.
my second point is, yes, he was recently appointed, and you know what? Not every person, every FBI and Secret Service agent in Gnome's detail is going to know every single frickin' senator. Look at us. We pay attention to politics more so than the average person, and we don't know every single senator in the Senate. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if he identifies himself or not. He just charged. What you didn't see, what was sort of off camera in this here, was pay attention to the first video. He was already within striking distance of the podium.
Yeah,
He's just this random person who starts a disturbance. Yes, you remove him. You kindly remove these people from the area.
Yeah, and once the process of law enforcement has decided that you need to be removed, all of the decision making and the exceptions basically stop at that point. They're going to, based on what I've seen in my life, law enforcement, once they decide a thing like this has to happen, they're going to get control of things, and no matter what you say, it's not going to change anything. You're going to end up in handcuffs, and you might get released afterward, depending on what the facts work out to be. But they're not going to have a discussion with you about anything while they're in the process of removing you from that room.
Hey, Johnny.
Right?
Hey,
I mean,
Johnny.
Did I say anything wrong there?
No, that's entirely
yes.
should be procedure. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, my support of the police is conditional. I think most of them are pretty good, but I think they really need to do a better job of getting rid of the bad apples. So when people contacted me and said, there's this thing that happened, I'm just like, well, I'm going to take a look at it later when the facts become a little more clear, and I'm glad I did. Right. Because if I had just looked at the curated thing that came out on Bluesky, I might have had a different impression.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first clip still isn't good. Like, I understand people can have cognitive dissonance and try to paint it as good, but it's like the first one still isn't good because he's still acting like an ass. Like, it's very obviously she's still talking. Why are you trying to talk to her? The gotchas are for when she shuts up, so this way you can ask a question. The gotchas aren't for when she's in the middle of something, because then you just look like an ass.
Well,
so it's like,
sorry, go ahead.
It's like I said, it's still, I still see where everybody's coming from, where the media cuts it. I still get that. I'm not arguing with that. But it's still, he still looks like an ass. The only people who are going to be like, yeah, he did a gotcha, are the ones who don't actually care and who aren't actually going to watch it.
Well, while we're sleuthing here, let's take a look at the way this video is framed. Vertical video. Okay, this is not taken by a journalist. This was clearly this 99% chance this was taken by somebody that he brought with him.
Oh yeah.
To basically, because this is the response he wanted. He got what he wanted, and later, you know, we get into the hallway and they're saying, "Well, you're not supposed to record in here," and they tell this person to back off. I know that probably I don't want to test the patience of the chat. I just think that this is a great example showing how just leaving a few seconds and using a slightly different camera angle completely changes the way the narrative works.
That's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, you wait 72 hours after everything happens before you make a comment, because otherwise you will eat your shoes.
But I will tell you that people in California, I know everybody says, oh, it's great watching these people suffer. I do not like watching people suffer. I really don't. No. I know people who are good, decent, but gullible people who are having trouble eating, having trouble sleeping. They're really not doing well. And there's nothing I can say that's going to change any of that. But that doesn't mean I don't have some sympathy for these people. I don't like watching people, good, decent people, be hoodwinked and brainwashed and gaslit into the state that they're in. Because the people who are doing the gaslighting and stuff, those people I hate. I hate these people that are just causing human suffering for nothing but craven political gain.
Yeah.
I mean, like Gavin Newsom.
Well, he's part of the machine.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to decide who hated him more today, Bridget Fetisi or Adam Carolla, because they've got a real hate off going in terms of which of them likes that guy, hates that guy more.
Well, I was going to say Adam Carolla.
For him.
He does.
Yeah. Adam Carolla's been gunning for him for fucking years at this point.
Well, ever since he had him on the show, and and Adam's just like, he was just thinking he was going to come in and talk to a normal human being. It's like, no, I'm talking to this machine. And he just spits out dumb answers all the time. He's not even answering like a person. He's just part of an apparatus. Anyway, let's see. Let's move on to literally anything else. Okay, let's see. We'll check that.
I'd just like to close out with
Yeah, go ahead.
communists deserve no quarter.
No, communists are scum. They're the worst of the worst.
There is nothing, and I mean nothing, as dumb as a communist.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? They might not be, actively instilling, communism, but they are definitely going by the Marxist playbook and
toward collectivism.
And it's not good. And these people are sick,
Right?
Mentally sick.
Frank Lloyd Wright disciples, good.
Yeah.
Saul Alinsky disciples, bad. It's my worldview is very, very straightforward.
Rules for radicals.
One last immigration thing, and this is the thing I like about the Republicans in a way. They will just sort of say, well, it's better to get something done than nothing done. And they do stuff, and then if it doesn't work out, they go, oh, well, if there's problems, we'll fix them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't just get into analysis paralysis and spend 6 months trying to figure out how they're going to get the hostages out of the Iranian embassy, only to have the helicopters get destroyed by sand. Anyway, enough about
or shrug
about
and
that.
say oopsie doodle like they did in their Afghanistan withdrawal.
But
sorry.
But this
or
is,
when they killed American citizens with drone strikes.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
But this is how you're supposed to do it. Trump says changes are coming to immigration enforcement after complaints from farmers and hospitality industry. This is where policy meets reality and pragmatists make adjustments. Okay. I mean, obviously, I don't think Trump wants to make things worse. He wants to make things better. And this is what I like. He acts first and then looks for problems and then tries to make corrections. I like the fact that he's not an iconoclast. I think he's a very pragmatic person when it comes to stuff involving labor, for instance. Go, Serenity.
But the issue is that if these people are getting paid under industry standard, they're slave labor. Like this shouldn't be allowed to happen.
No. They are not. They are not. Hold on. They're not slave labor. There is a case in one of the restaurants in Pacific Grove. This was just in the news today. Didn't quite make the show. Where a guy who showed up 25 years ago under an asylum thing has been for 25 years. He's the manager of a good restaurant. He's worked in some very fine places. He's been working, paying taxes, employing people, running shifts. This isn't, some fly-by-night guy. And he went in for an interview because he's required to do these things periodically. And at the interview, they basically said, well, you have no right to be here. We're going to deport you. That's the kind of person we're talking about, because having those kinds of people just removed from the U.S., because he didn't sneak across the border. I mean, this guy didn't really do anything particularly wrong. I think the net has gotten a little broad, perhaps. I still agree with 99% of what they're doing, by the way. But there may be some people that are getting swept up in this and that shouldn't be. Serenity.
Well, I mean, that does happen, and that's going to happen. And you can try to mitigate it as best you can, but it happens because you have people who are overzealous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the people who are basically used as a half step up from slave labor. That's the stuff that bothers me. It's kind of like the stupid people in California who always used to say the stuff like, well, you better hide your gardeners. It's like it feels like, not Trump, I'm not talking about Trump, but it feels like people want to save them not because they care about human life, but because they want cheap shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like I don't like slavery in any form. And I don't like the half step up slavery that a lot of places are allowed to carry you on with. Construction sites that are allowed to carry on with that crap. Farms that are allowed to carry on with that crap. I think the business owners should be getting hit with it. But it's just like, I want these people to actually have been paid the wage that is standard for the industry of which they are in.
Don't you want an exploitable underclass that we?
No,
no. Is that what you're?
Is
that what you're saying? No, I know.
Not India.
No,
We're
I
not India.
I absolutely know what you're talking about. That's why I came back with a concrete example of the difference. Now,
that guy absolutely should be allowed.
Now I feel like this is important. What I've said in the past is that people who are contributing to society, who it's to our benefit to keep, we should keep. Okay.
Yeah.
But the 20 million people that just got let in, who have not been starting restaurants, have not been doing all this stuff, and the people that are essentially slaves because of the smuggling that's gone, and this is from Asia and from south of the border, right? So those people that's human trafficking is what that is. That's obviously terrible too. But I don't think anybody is proposing that we let lots of illegals stay here just because meatpacking plants need to keep their margins up or anything like that.
Well, if I can add,
it is all
the farmer and the associated productions. So, like you said, slaughterhouse. There are programs, and they are called blue cards. They're not green cards. They're blue cards. They're conditional work visas for people specifically in the agriculture business. Industry. And what it basically does, just to give you the short of it, is they allow you to come in, and they're typically given to seasonal workers. So they come in, they do the crops, they work the farms, they're ranch hands, whatever. They're paid the industry standard for these positions, and then typically you're supposed to go back home when it's off season. The seasons change depending on the industry, where you are in the country, etc. But you're not, air quotes, legal as a citizen. You have very limited access to government programs, very basic access to things like schooling and what have you, little things. They can't vote. They technically don't count towards the census, but they do.
But
let's
they're not
leave it
supposed
at that.
to. Yeah.
They're not supposed to, but they do. Let's leave it at that. And so when they're supposed to go back, a small percentage of them have had, because they've been here for 20, 25 years, whatever, do have more of a life here, or I should say in the US, than they do in, say, Mexico. And these are some of the people that were swept up. And Trump's recent press conference where he was saying these things, and this is where some of the people on the right have been losing the forest for the trees, who themselves have become a little overzealous about the immigration, saying, you know what, yes, we did vote for this. Sure, I agree with you. But let's look at this specific thing, and let's sort through, okay, who is truly illegal, who is a typical blue card recipient. And now when we look at these blue cards, let's look at people who are in the system to becoming a pathway to citizenship, who have been going through those channels, and who hasn't. And let's make some delineations. Okay, you've been here 20 years, you've made you have broken the law by not going home when you're supposed to. And you've made no steps towards becoming naturalized citizen, whatever. And yeah, let's have a conversation about that with them. The other people who have been doing it properly, let's sort of do hands off for now, see where that takes them. If those people, because those are the largest percentage of illegals.
Oh, no.
It's the people that Harry just demonstrated, the people who came up through the border. Like, you had a wide open border on one end and a porous border on the northern end. And it's been getting all sorts of people in.
Well, this guy that I was talking about has been in the process for 25 years.
Yeah, and sometimes
the people
it takes
who sneak
that or
across
longer.
the border, or are told they have to leave but don't leave, or all those people. The vast majority of people should be, sent back. And mostly the 20 million people that came in should be sent back. This would not be necessary if it wasn't for the fact that Biden was a terrible president. Barack Obama knew how to deport people, really good at it. Bill Clinton knew how to deport people, really good at it. Trump knew how to deport people. But just Joseph Robinette Biden, he was the one who decided, nope, we're just going to let people in. Or maybe they just fed him pudding while his handlers decided that this was a great idea. And now we have this big mess that has to be cleaned up. And people are losing sight of the fact that none of this would be necessary if Biden had just done his damn job, the job that he was legally required to do. But he gets a free pass because he's old and mumbles and he's from Scranton.
I dare say, Harry, it's one of his primary jobs is to protect the borders.
Can I play some Tom Lehrer?
Please.
Please.
Okay.
Do.
It loads.
It's loading. Everything's slow today. I don't know why. Got tons of bandwidth.
Better than it was the other day.
Well,
on
I've got
Thursday.
2.5 gigabits per second up and down.
Should Americans pick crops? George says no.
no.
Cause no one but a Mexican would stoop so low. And after all, even in Egypt, the pharaohs had to import Hebrew braceros.
Think of all the musicals we have in store.
Well, that's what we had.
Imagine Broadway melodies of 1984.
Drink, everybody, by the way. Yeah, we had the Bracero program, but we don't need to rehash all of that because there are so many things to talk about. But I was just annoyed. It's like if I'm literally driving out of the valley and I'm seeing multiple demonstrations about this, like, oh, I guess we got to talk about this. Son of a bitch.
18 other countries, too. The No Kings thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me this is organic, please.
What countries are doing it? Not that I don't believe you.
Canada, UK, Australia,
UK,
Italy, France. Serenity, technically, so do we. It make no sense.
Like,
That's why this is not organic, clearly.
I know, but still, it's like, wait, I could, if Queen Elizabeth was still alive, I could understand. You have a king.
Technically, you have no king, it's a queen. But no, you literally right now have a king.
I'm just like,
Charles.
what? I know, and they'll have a king after this because William's going to take it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, what are you fucking talking about?
Again, give no quarter to these communist bastards.
Yeah.
They're here to ruin the country and ruin the West.
The last King William did pretty well in England. That was the William and Mary.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
They loved him.
Oh,
Can we talk about something else now?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking up what countries did the No King's Day thing, but go ahead. I'm looking at this shit.
Stay with me, Serenity. You're gonna love this. Okay.
Wait. Serenity, funny. I think there were like 2 in Africa and 1 in Asia too.
That's disgusting.
Moving on.
Okay, so moving on. So in terms of that business consultant guy, how do you think he would do with this business? So think about being Mr. Irvine, Serenity, and how do you think he's gonna think about this particular thing? The Bay Area's first women's sports bar is open for business.
Only
don't they
one
look
of those
like
is
a
woman.
happy? Don't they look like a happy group of gals? Ricky's
That's a
co-owners
throuple if I've ever seen
Yeah,
one.
Danielle Theo, Sarah Yurgovich posed for a portrait with consulting chef J.D. Voss. Well, maybe J.D. in the middle is the dude. I don't know. Anyway, there's a couple.
Honey.
We've got at least 2 chicks there.
That ain't born a dude.
I don't know. I can't.
There's
keep
no
track of these
dangly
things.
bits to be found there, but some of them aren't women.
Fans of the Golden State Valkyries Football Club.
Valkyries.
What did I say?
Valkyries.
You can say Valkyries.
Yeah, you did.
I did. No, I'm not saying I didn't. I said I did, and I don't care. I'm unapologetic about saying it that way. Football club. So essentially soccer, but slower. Because if soccer needs to be anything, it's slower.
Yes. Yeah.
All
Damn,
the
Harry,
excitement
damn.
of soccer at a pace that's a little more leisurely. Come see the Valkyries because you will
There you go.
definitely not spill your beer with excitement.
Now, slow down there, Harry.
Now, we've had a bunch of these sort of virtue signal type things. Honestly, I would love to be wrong. I don't want to see these people go out of business. I don't. If they're successful and they have enough people, in the metropolitan area that want to go to this women's sports bar and they watch it, great. Good for them. I'll be happy to be wrong about this. But the cynical part of me says, I have seen this shit before and it always fails.
I want
to
see
quote
what the bar looks like.
Go.
to quote Fidel, it's full of what?
Yeah. No, well,
Talking about the Castro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you have anything but profit, efficiency, making, but if you have any other agenda, that's why these things fail. They compromise their best practices. practices could make them profitable frequently in service of their ideology, and they fail. That's why that obnoxious, uh, no white people coffee shop in Seattle, it was Seattle or Portland, forget, was just, or it had one day where they asked if you were white to stay away. They couldn't forbid you. They just asked you nicely to stay out.
Or the ones that charge different prices to men and women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And yes, the lesbian sipping club.
The women only paid 78% of the cost of the men.
Right.
God. This kind of gimmicky virtue signaling bullshit never works. I mean, I'll be happy to be wrong. I mean, there are people that enjoy women's sports, but is that demographic really the let's go to a bar and hang out and watch sports on the big screen TV? Maybe it'll turn out to be a great meat market.
Well, yeah, it
that
is
could
in the
happen.
Castro. It is in the area that it might take off. I do know of 2 other cases where they did try these, only playing women's sports. Didn't like discriminate, and men could go in there if they wanted. But I know one closed down almost immediately because they had no patrons, and the other one actually, I don't know if they closed yet, but they actually had to start playing men's sports to get people in the doors.
Just have good food, fair prices, play whatever sports are good. Whatever sports are good, whatever sports people want to watch. You've got all these screens, just show good sports. And the stuff that women do that's really great, I'm going to be an ass and say curling because it's funny. But yeah, no, I mean, there's
more excitement in curling than soccer.
Actually,
I
find curling to be really, really entertaining.
I love curling.
But
have you ever curled? Have you ever done curling?
No.
It's rough.
It's fun though. It's fun.
Well, I mean, basically, it's bocce ball with cleaning equipment,
giant stones.
Yeah, and brooms.
No, I mean, Skep. It's rough on your body. It takes a lot of physical strength and dexterity.
Of beer that
you've said your obligatory nice things about curling as a Canadian. I think it's a requirement, isn't that in your constitution? That when you're talking to foreigners, you have to defend curling at all costs.
I am all in favor of curling. Curling is the Ubermensch sport.
Yeah, thing is, I do not hate women's sports at all. Okay,
no,
I don't. I have professionally had 2 professional dealings with separate women's sports professional organizations in my life. Okay, I have no problem with women doing sports, but I think as a single topic sort of thing, I think this is not going to be good business. Just show the stuff that's good. And soccer is probably not going to be it.
Hockey games.
When I was a ref for the 12th Naval District, when I was stationed at Monterey, I also refed the City League's women's softball games. And just for a lark, just for something to do at night, it was just an interesting hobby. And I thought I was going to really pursue it as an umpire and start moving up the chain. Yeah, but it is big fun calling those games. They have so much fun.
Well, I'll tell you after the show because I don't want to dox myself or anybody else. I'll tell you after the show what those 2 things were. But I will say that the people who were the principals in both of the organizations were impressive as hell. They really impressed me more than I often in those kinds of meetings. You meet a lot of people and you go, this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. They were actually really impressive people behind both of the ventures I worked with. But anyway, enough about me. Let's see. I have a bunch of local stuff, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about just hyper local stuff here. Well, let's see.
Have you ever met a person who was, famous, and once you got to know them a little bit, you just couldn't believe how much they let you down? That ever happened to you, Harry?
A little bit. A little bit. So Henry Cavill's Highlander finally sets filming dates exclusive.
Thank God.
This means it's probably actually going to happen. Unlike the Amber Chronicles thing that Stephen Colbert is behind, which has spent 4 years doing, jack all. There's a bunch of projects that are just not. It's just pretty obvious nothing's going to happen, right? The Bewitched reboot, thank God that's not going to happen. But
thank you, Lord.
I think we all want to see this, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If they cast the right
Should be
people,
really-
which so far Henry is a good casting,
Mm-hmm.
I will be fine with it.
I'm
They
actually.
have to cast it right.
I think. Is this going to be? This is not. Is this a movie or a series?
I
movie.
believe it's a movie.
I will actually
And they
pay.
have
I will pay for a ticket. I will go to a theater and I will see this in person. I will make time to see this in a freaking theater. That is how I feel about this. I don't
And-
normally do that.
and the director Chad Stileski is really good. He's really good. He does action so well. He puts effort into the craft by researching things so that, like, for instance, he did the John Wick series, the first three. Anyway, he went in. He learned about the different firearms. He learned about how the gunplay in those types of scenes should play out. And famously, I'm blanking on his name, Serenity.
Who are you?
The actor.
Oh.
The
I
actor.
am Keanu
Keanu
Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Famously, Keanu Reeves went through these types of firearms training again, so he would know what Stileski knew about how these things should play out. And so if he's going to do that much work into figuring out sword play, the different sword styles, I am all for this, because as Cavill's working on the Warhammer movie, which is several years till anything's going to be on the screen, he can take the time to do smaller projects like this here and there, because I'll admit I'm a bit of a Henry Cavill fanboy. I think he does
Quick
good
interruption.
work.
I have to step away for just one
I'm
minute. No. You guys keep talking amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a minute. I have a feeling I have a feeling this topic will keep you busy for long enough for me to step away and come back.
Okay. Because I feel like he's one of those people, Serenity, that he's passionate about the projects he does. He's one of us in a way that he's a nerd. He likes these things, and if he's going to be a part of the project, we saw with Witcher, he started getting unhappy with the direction they were taking Witcher, and he was just like, you know what, I'm done.
Well,
After the third season, I'm done.
Well, the worry always is like you have to. Is what path they take the Highlander movie. That's my issue. Is that what made the Highlander movie, the original, memorable and fun to watch, and still fun to watch, is watching a Scotsman play a Spaniard and just all that shit. But it's like
Fighting like a Frenchman.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like, and they have to cast it right. And so far, Henry being McLeod works.
Yeah, and Stileski at the helm with Cavill, I think we'll have a strong showing.
We stand a good
you'll
chance.
have to see where they take this, though.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we're gonna integrate the MCU into this.
Oh God, no! Please.
We can have Loki shit.
That there'd be no reason to integrate that in any way, shape, or form.
You wouldn't like to see Hiddleston as Kurgan?
Money.
True,
honey,
Skep.
Honey, I don't even think it's the same production companies. They can't even do that. Like, this is nothing even close to being even related to Marvel or Disney.
What are we talking about now?
I don't even think it's being...
all those things require is money. Set up a partnership and start selling limited partnerships to the suckers who want.
We could be talking about anything now.
Yes. We're talking about making a movie.
You know what else Stileski did that it was like niggling in the back of my mind? I had to Google
What
it.
was that?
He did The Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
He did Ghosts of Tsushima.
No. He's doing the movie Ghost of Tsushima. It's in production right now. He's not doing the video game.
Sorry. I meant the film. That's about it.
Yeah,
like,
but that's the. I'm going to be an asshole. I like the game Ghost of Tsushima. They had a lot of input from the Japanese. It's a white dude doing a Japanese movie. Like, and he's doing a bunch of Japanese movies, and I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I have to delineate. Okay, he was the stunt double for Brandon Lee in The Crow.
Yeah, he was stunt double.
He was a stuntman in the Matrix trilogy.
Yeah,
he did John Wick 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Matrix Resurrections. he also directed the sequel to the and Ballerina that just came out that I heard. Haven't watched it yet. I going to. But I've heard it's actually really good. It's just that there is girl boss fatigue in these movies.
That is what people are saying about it. Yes.
Well, not about the movie. They're saying that people are
that's
avoiding
about the whole
it.
situation. That it's a good movie.
They're avoiding seeing it because it's a theater release.
They're avoiding seeing it if it had been released at a different time and had not been following all of the girl boss addiction stuff, it might be getting a much better reception than it is, which is not fair to it, but I'm going to watch it at some point. I'm not going to pay money to see it in a theater.
My issue is that it's doing the same bullshit that always happens with every single Hollywood movie that's been going on for decades. It has an actress who's about the size of a wet piece of paper beating the shit out of 200-pound guys.
But if I may, again, just from the scenes I've seen and from a couple people I've seen online who have talked about it because they've seen it, somebody compared it to, what was the one with blonde girl? No, God, Charlize Theron.
Yeah, I know. I'm already looking for a clip for Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde. Okay, so Atomic Blonde, Serenity, has her going toe-to-toe with these hulking men and not using the proper fighting techniques. So we're talking about power versus power, and we're supposed to sit there and swallow this tripe and think, this woman just hit this 6'6" guy with her fist, and he's supposed to be reeling? I don't fucking think so. Whereas in Ballerina, she's using the techniques that somebody who is smaller would use against people who are more powerful, have more strength, who are larger, like your judos, aikidos, Krav Magas, where they would use more agile maneuvers as opposed to power. And so that's where they were saying the delineation between the two, if you can stomach it, please watch. See, like, elbow to the face, and then
it's like
that guy would have floored her with that punch.
If this was like a really good Chinese martial arts thing, you'd just be like, I know the wire's there and I just don't care, right? It doesn't matter because it's almost like a fantasy thing. But I think I may have partially lost some friends over this movie because they were so offended that I said the physics on this is so bad it just breaks me out of the thing. It's not like she's supernatural. There's no element. They're just saying she's a normal human being and that she's doing these things. It's like without there being some sort of, oh, she's a mutant, or, oh, she's made of neutron star material, so she weighs 1,000 times more than she looks like, whatever. You have to have like some kind of special pleading to make this particular movie make any sense whatsoever. And it breaks the fourth wall.
The freeze frame you had before, he was grabbing her upper arm. His hand was half the size of her entire upper arm.
Yeah.
Well, but like, I understand the fight scenes you've seen in Ballerina, but my issue is that gun exists. Why hand-to-hand combat when gun exists?
Well, she does. She does.
I know, but my issue is that she's still tiny.
I understand where you're coming from. Like I said, I plan on actually seeing it now that I've had some people tell me it's not exactly what I've been thinking it was, which, okay. And I'll report back to you and let you know, because I'm actually intrigued, because yes, I have felt the fatigue of these girl boss movies, but some of my favorite movies in the 90s, Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley, they weren't going, fist to fist strength wise. They were using their mental capabilities, their cognitive capabilities to outthink their opponents and do other things. And yes, like you said, use gun smarter than these men characters who are also using gun, but she's still using brain power to outthink them to still shoot them.
But and then like, I have no problem with girls. It's just like, I didn't like the fact that they wouldn't shut the fuck up about the movie, about the fact Anna de Armas did her own stunts. Okay, so does every other male actor. What is your point? I don't care. Good for her. Whoop-de-fucking do. This is not at you, Functional. It's just, it was they focused too much on trying to push her as equal to men, and it's like you're doing it wrong. Women are not like men. We can stand together on the same ledge together, but we are not the same. And that's my issue, is that because this was also around the time that because Ballerina came out around the same time as whatever the fudge Tom Hanks' last freaking Mission Impossible movie is.
Tom Hanks Mission Impossible. No, you mean you mean
Tom Cruise. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Tom Hanks stars in Mission Impossible.
I would pay to watch that just to see how that goes.
We're gonna land this plane.
No, as Forrest Gump.
But the issue is that because of that, they were trying to do what they do with Tom Cruise, which is Tom Cruise does all his own stunts, and I'm like, that's cool. But also the signs of a good action actor is knowing when they can't do them. And I don't care. I want the stuff to look good. I don't care if they're doing their own stunts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They can't all be Buster. They can't all be Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
Actually, Buster Keaton couldn't be Buster Keaton.
Guy. Bruce is a weird guy, but he's a smart guy.
I'm sure he is. I cannot stand him.
I know a lot of people who
speaks highly of you.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who agree with that, by the way, Serenity, who just get a weird vibe off of him because of the whole creepy Scientology thing.
Well, it's also the fact that every actor right now, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they've been paid, but all of them are like, "Oh my God, Tom Cruise is so nice and he's so charismatic," and I'm like, "What have you huffed?"
He has a positive attitude. Maybe that's nice.
That is a creepy positive attitude.
Okay, but I think Ballerina is going to be a lot better than Atomic Blonde. Okay,
well, I think
I don't think it's a I'm going to spend money to go to the movies like I will with Highlander. I am going to see that in a theater. I'm going to.
I want girl boss stuff like the Angelina Jolie era of Tomb Raider
or Mila Jovovich. Honestly, love those Resident Evil movies.
Resident Evil movies, yeah.
That woman knows how to move, whether she's Lulu Multipass Dallas or whether she's going after the people with the T virus.
She was good in Ultraviolet too.
She was really Ultraviolet is actually pretty damn underrated. And to be fair to Charlize Theron and her misshapen head, she
you're not wrong.
Okay,
that's not wrong.
That's
funny.
As bad as she is in Atomic Blonde, I did not think Aeon Flux was that bad a movie.
No, Aeon Flux was good.
And because it's not just like a normal human, this universe.
Yeah, it's not.
Her physicality isn't off-putting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as bad as she is in Atomic Blonde, Aeon Flux as a movie is actually not as irredeemable as people think it is. It's actually pretty good. But honestly, watch the Peter Chen animation.
Yes.
Okay, that's actually aged really well, I think. But I have to show you something before you go deal with dogs. Okay. You guys have asked me for something, and I've been unable to deliver the multiple times we have talked about the people who built the apartment in the train station. And you always say this to me, the same thing. Do you have any photos of the apartment?
Yeah.
And I always say no. The answer tonight is yes.
Hallelujah.
Okay. I have photos of the apartment that was built in the Caltrain station. Okay. So I know you've waited a long time for this. How do I make this go away? Okay. Let's see. Photos. Caltrain official lived in secret apartment built illegally inside train station. Okay. So let's.
He had a gaim.
What?
A gaim.
What?
He even had a gaim.
A gaim? Oh. What the
yeah, scroll up. Look at the title.
What the frick are you talking about?
Jim.
The lair in Burlingame Station was furnished and even had a gaim.
Jim.
No, Jim has nothing to do with this.
I'm confused.
Gaim.
Jim.
Anyway, continue. Move on. Go
okay.
I'm making a joke, Harry.
I know you're making a joke, and I can't save you. I can't save you.
Slog ahead.
Maybe he was a guy mycologist.
Dragon here.
Okay. So here is
very nice.
It's got tile. Wow. It's got like a little breakfast area. He's got a refrigerator, water cooler. Like, look at all this stuff. That's actually not a bad little apartment that he set up.
This is like better than my apartment. What the fuck?
Hey, he's got I bet he's doing his gaming. Maybe he's probably
not on those monitors.
Maybe he's got a gaming chair.
Ugh. That's not a gaming chair.
Yeah.
Harry.
Maybe it says Secret Labs on that chair.
On Dells.
They don't have, if you're actually playing games worth any crap, you're not, they don't have the.
Oh, look at the bathroom.
The bathroom's nice. That bathroom's nice.
That's bigger than mine, motherfucker. What the shit?
Shower.
Get to work at a train station.
Check it out.
Go to an empty spot and build your own crap.
I'd rather stay out of the court system. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
it's California.
Why?
He won't
Why
be in the court system.
This? Why did he have to do this?
Well, it was paid for by somebody else, i.e. the taxpayers. So it's $40,000 they used to put this together. And, you know, why pay rent when you can just live for free in this little unused corner of the train
20
station?
years?
My goodness.
Oh, several years. It wasn't 20 years.
I thought it was like 2006 or something.
I thought it was
It says
several
you
years.
should say it in the article.
Okay, first I'm telling you about the thing, and you say, where are the pictures? And now I bring you the pictures, and now you want me to go back to the details.
It's just a cross-examination.
It's like, I'm
Well,
not going to do
fine.
orals on this topic. Okay, so let's see. Where does it say? Secret dwelling, chambers for years, but will now reside in county jail for 4 months. Misuse of $42,000 in funds.
Wow.
There we are. 28 days credit
Felony
for
theft
time
of
served. All right. Well, anyway,
He got out.
this is the secret apartment.
It's nice. He even had windows.
Yeah.
I expected it to be like beneath the train
Was he
station
released
without
in-
windows.
You thought he was
They
like
didn't
Lex
make him serve
Luthor
4 months?
in
They
the
did not
Superman
make him
movie?
serve- They did not make him serve 4 months.
Well, there's
They-
two guys. Okay, one of them was the sort of the recipient. The other was the guy who doctored the books and did the actual deed of the financial moving the money
He's the
around,
one
and
that
he's
needs to
going
go
away
away.
for a while.
Okay.
The other guy-
How long does he go away for?
I thought it was like 4 years or something.
No, 4 months.
Maybe it was 4 months.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay,
So
4
so
months,
this
and
is
the
what
other
you
guy
can
gets
hide in the
time
corner of a
served.
Caltrain station if you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder.
Are you
Okay.
kidding me?
You're just jealous because it's nicer than your place, functional.
So it first started in 2019.
Okay.
Caltrain discovered the apartment on April 1st, 2022 from an anonymous tip. Okay, that answers my questions. I just wanted to know how
Probably
long
a
they got away with
jilted,
this. but
jilted lover.
To
Yeah.
answer Skep's question, yeah, like I mean, simply put, just you're saving on rent, and you think you can scam the taxpayer out of paying for this and then collecting rent money every month? Oh man.
Well, there's people living in vans that are like set up in stealth mode. They'll do conversions on commercial vans with no windows and make them into secret dwellings. Rent around here is so expensive. There's a lot of incentive to try to find some way to game the system.
That's interesting. Driven to do that. Boy,
Yeah.
It's an elaborate scheme. Well played, lad.
Yep.
I kind of love the rebellious aspect of it.
Well, I mean, I admire the hustle.
Yeah, the hustle. That's what it is. Yeah, that also.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
So,
Moving right along.
well, Serenity, do you need to go deal with your dogs?
Yep. I was
Okay.
about to type it in
For
chat.
palate cleanser.
Doggos.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Pentagon Pizza. We already did that. I don't think I can talk about quantum computing without Serenity.
No, she.
Okay, here's something that I think this is a good thing. You tell me. This is the kind of keep California weird, keep Portland weird kind of thing that I almost kind of feel okay about. You tell me what you think. I'm not going to tell you what you're supposed to think about this, but San Francisco man Mr. Bloom plants wildflowers to help cities' bees.
Populations of bees are dropping at alarming rates all around the world, and a San Francisco man right there is making it his mission to bring attention to the problem. Itah Had shows us how he's suiting up, rolling out, and giving pollinators a reason to come back.
In a city where you can see just about anything, a man in a bee suit.
I kind of admire the commitment. I mean, maybe he needs to be committed, but I kind of admire the commitment.
He's
on a
living his
one-wheeler
best life, man. I
still
have no
manages
problem
to
with this
turn
at
heads.
all.
It may look like a plea for attention.
It
This
does.
summer, one
Just
man.
not from humans. Because
One
Shalato
mission.
McGee is
One
trying
bag
to
of
One mission to
seeds.
save the bees.
bees.
When I see weeds, I plant seeds. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Calls himself Mr. Bloom.
Okay,
And his
Mr.
mission
Sprinkle,
is to
Sprinkle.
pollinate the city's forgotten corners. His method of choice, an old Parmesan shaker filled with native wildflowers. The kind that makes San Francisco bees feel right at home.
You know, a lot of times they send out the news crew and they say, "Oh, we got to get some B-roll for this story," right? And oh, God, I realized I just did a pun. I did not mean to do that.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say he's making it easy for them, but he's literally giving them B-roll.
Yeah.
He's a bee on a one wheel.
In front of the DMV, no less.
It's B-roll. Anyway, I hate myself.
Oh.
But I think this is actually okay because he's, yeah, it's kind of sad in a lonely sort of way, but at the same time, it's kind of an important thing to do. And he probably is weird in the good way, not the bad
Now,
way.
a lot of people consider wildflowers weeds, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I'll also guarantee you that mixed in with all that seed is a lot of weed too. So, you know, he's probably seeding quite a few weeds. I got to thinking about that here and thinking about, you know, I've only been doing that for about 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's hard not to do. And I think this guy's more after publicity possibly than being careful about this stuff.
But if he's basically putting these seeds over where there's already weeds, I don't think he's a
He's
net
not hurting
negative.
anything.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's a negative. And I love the guy. I love his approach, everything about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not unalloyed good, but it is awesome. And on the whole, it is a positive.
I mean, I like to be a little severe and a little far right sometimes, and I'll shake a finger at people over things that other people don't think there's an issue with, right? I can be pretty stern and and conservative sometimes, but the idea that bees need pollinators and that you could just plant different flowers in your yard, it's like if it's not putting you out, why not just plant things that bees like? Because honey is delicious and bees are fine.
People are afraid of bees.
Well, there was Stephen Colbert with the threat down, you know, where you would always have bears and bees, I think, in the top 5 in his thing, the threat down. I liked him a lot better when he was pretending to be conservative. He was actually funny then.
Yeah. I like this guy. I think he's being the change he wants to see.
Yes, I agree with you, Functional. That's well said.
I mean, not all of us can do the grandiose things. So if he's looks at the news and says, "Oh, the bees are in trouble," which they are, what am I capable of doing? I'm putting myself in his very yellow shoes. What change can I affect in the world? And he went and did it. And
he's changing the florisphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to Skep's point, for the attention, that's why he wears the bee suit, is so that maybe he can influence and inspire other peoples to do similar things in their neck of the country or the world, and say, hey, yeah, the bees are in trouble. Let's go plant some wildflowers or whatever. Or maybe I won't pull the wildflowers that are growing outside my house. I'll let them be there for the bees. I'll just keep, my lawn manicured.
I won't spray the chlordane in my yard.
That too. Yeah.
Chlordane is good stuff.
It is good stuff.
I remember coming home.
Get me started.
Coming home
Not if you're a bee.
Okay, chlordane is like a hardcore insecticide.
Yes.
I came home one day.
The ricin.
Go to my is at my grandfather's place, and he had pulled the carpet up and was going at termites himself, doing a do-it-yourself termite abatement using chlordane. And I'm just dude, do not spray that stuff in the house. And he said, well, this will kill the termites. I said, yeah, it will kill the termites.
Yeah.
It'll also turn your house into a super fun site.
Yeah, it will turn you into a cancer jar.
Yeah, don't do any of that.
Jesus.
You can actually kill them just with like limonene and things like that. You don't need chlordane.
I used chlordane for years.
Chlordane used to be like, it was basically the not the Levoxyl. What's that stuff called? The Cipro levofloxacin. It's basically the levofloxacin of insecticides.
Yes, exactly. And the very first insecticide database for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was developed by me.
Oh.
I designed the whole thing. It was the biggest project I'd ever had. And I won it on this bid, and I told them how they ought to design this thing, and which database files to have, what the keys and foreign keys were, and how it would work. And I told them I'd write it all up, and I gave them a price, and I won the contract. And that kept me busy for about 6 months.
Good.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, that's excellent.
Yeah. And what I developed it in was XBase and Visual Basic.
Yeah, I always hear people talking about Visual Basic, and I honestly have never really used it, mostly because I just sort of moved on to other languages. I'm a
confident programmer in Visual Basic, or at least I was at one time.
But you could be really, really productive in a language like that.
Oh, but it really helps if you've written like code in a language like C or Turbo Pascal or something. Because that's when you get inside those controls and you customize those controls with your own logic. That's where you have to be able to write that kind of code. That's where I separate the real programmers from the people who can just come in and configure the screen appropriately.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me let's talk about this, because there was the whole thing about tipping culture being out of control. And I know this happened a couple weeks ago, but we didn't get around to talking about it. This whole thing about the DoorDash driver who didn't get a tip, so he went back to a customer's house and pulled a gun on him. Did you see this thing?
To protect his family when a now former DoorDash driver showed up at his home with a gun. That driver was apparently upset over how he was tipped. Those tense moments could have escalated into a tragedy. Alma McCarty has a story.
A quiet.
Yeah, I guess now we know where the line is for what you have to do to not be allowed to be a DoorDash driver anymore.
Yeah. Did they fire him or did they reprimand him?
Let's see. Well, I mean, they at least fired him.
Morning in Vancouver interrupted.
This loud bang on the door, real loud, startled my daughter, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, who the heck's pounding on the door?"
Anthony Volino explains it was the DoorDash delivery driver who'd come by the house the night before when his daughter ordered groceries.
It was a considerable amount. It was about $100 worth of food. The food was delivered to her. Apparently, she had to give a tip through the online system, which was deducted.
But the driver had apparently wanted a cash tip. And for a second, Volino thought about giving him one.
When he again said, "I want my..."
I mean, so far this is all very weird.
So being well adjusted, he shows up the next day with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not how you exercise your Second Amendment rights.
Tip. No. That's when I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. He leaned in like I didn't hear him. And that's when I put my hand up like a stop sign and I said, "Hey, hey, hey." And I said, "You need to leave now."
A scuffle ensued, and that's when Volino realized the man at their door had a gun in his waistband.
When I felt the steel, my heart just sank. My heart just sank. I was like, "Oh God, help me now." He tripped right here and he tripped up against my wife's car. And as he was on the ground, I came about right here. And I leaned over and I cleared the handgun.
Vancouver police arrived soon after, identifying the suspect as Robert Delahant and arresting him.
Yeah,
a spokesperson for DoorDash told KGW that the company has a zero-tolerance policy for harassment of any kind.
DoorDash does not endorse our drivers going back to people's houses and trying to shake them down with a firearm for a larger tip. Well, good job, DoorDash.
If that had been me and I took the guy's gun away from him, I would have started disassembling that gun. I think it was a semi-automatic, and semis are easy to disassemble, very easy to disassemble. And just throw the pieces as far away from you in all different directions as you can.
Yeah,
it's
just to piss on this guy's face.
Yes,
basically. That's why.
But tipping culture is so
Skep, to be
annoying.
fair, he did hand over the gun to the police when they came, so that was probably for the best.
Oh, this is my gun now.
So one thing that I found particularly interesting about this is, so this father ordered groceries through DoorDash for his daughter. That's his daughter's house.
Yeah.
It was lucky as fuck that man, that father, was there to protect his daughter from this maniac, because I think the DoorDasher figured, oh, it's just a woman there. This could be an easy way to scam an extra $40-$50 out of her. And it's lucky as all hell her parents were there, and that man, that father, is a freaking hero.
Well, I would hope that she wouldn't even open the door for that guy if she was in a position.
Well, apparently
like that.
she did.
No,
And
I mean
she
when
was
he came
talking
back.
to him.
But yeah,
Yeah. No, she did, and that's when her father came to the door, went to like defend her. So like it was a good thing. I don't know, like they never mentioned why they were there, but I think it's kind of irrelevant at this point. It's just that her parents were visiting when this guy came back. So could have ended a lot worse if he didn't decide to visit his daughter that day.
They killed him. It says that the dasher involved was immediately deactivated.
Okay, between you and your puns and Functional with his Gime, I don't know. I feel like I've lost control of everything.
Well, how do you pronounce it, Mr. Fancy Pants?
I know. Hey, I feel like you you deserve this now. You brought this on yourself,
Shemp?
Functional. Okay?
Shemp?
You brought this on
This
yourself.
is the secret to popcorn that's even better than the ones at the movies. To start my recipe, I'm going to add a generous drizzle of oil into the pot. Now I
popcorn.
add 1 tablespoon of butter, or margarine if that's what you have at home.
Boo,
Either one
margarine.
will work perfectly for this recipe.
See, we're making popcorn. This is nothing weird here yet, right? It's fine.
It's the kind of thing you'll want to make over and
Totally
over
normal.
because it's so delicious.
hot
Now
dogs
I'm adding 10.5 ounces of sliced sausage.
Wait, what?
That's not sausage, honey.
That's not sausage. Well, I mean, maybe if she. Okay, I'm not going to make the joke I was thinking of making. That is a hot dog, dear. That's what
Trailer
that is.
park sausage, maybe.
It really enhances the flavor and also improves the final texture. This recipe is simply irresistible. It's hard to eat just.
I feel like the universe is testing me. Why? How is adding hot dogs to popcorn going to improve the texture? Tell me.
Tell us more.
Tell us more. Why?
I've browned the sausage nicely. It's got a great color, and it's just right. Now I add 1 cup of traditional popcorn kernels. Mix it all very well so the kernels absorb the flavor of the sausage and butter. It's at the perfect point, so I'm turning off the heat. And just look at this popcorn. What an incredible sight. I'm going to start.
Incredible is one word for it, right? Functional. I really, really, really think this is I'm sure she's a lovely human being, but this is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
This has got to be this has got to be like a Poe. This has got to be.
You think so? This is the super yummy with 2 Y's at the end channel. Yeah, more about this channel. So,
Okay, wait.
I think she's being serious.
Light and well stuffed chicken tortilla, second one from the on the top.
And I found out that I found out that if you cut chicken breast into strips and fry them in butter until golden, season with salt, black pepper, paprika, and mix well.
Yeah.
Then add green bell
Didn't
pepper,
brown those enough.
red bell pepper, and onion and saute everything. Then just assemble on a tortilla with mustard, ketchup, and a portion of the cooked chicken. Next, fold everything.
What the fuck? It was okay. Mustard and ketchup? Are you?
Well, she didn't use. She had all those hot dogs that she got rid of without putting ketchup and mustard on them, so she's got to use the mustard and ketchup here.
I remain unconvinced. This has got to be a joke.
No, I think
up
she's
very
serious.
Well, and you'll get an amazing tortilla snack, better than a Mexican burrito. And I found out that
I would rather eat MRE taco rolls than this.
Near 1.7 million subscribers. 1.5 1,500 videos.
Yeah.
No.
I guess I just don't know what good eating is.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
That ain't.
But see, you were being feisty, so I figured you needed to see that.
That is wonderful.
Marvel. From a different channel and equally mockable. I sort of feel like I need Serenity here for this because she needs to keep me in check. Okay, we're going to do this one.
I'll keep you in check.
Okay, you're back. Okay, so here is somebody making ice cream. And I'm doing air quotes. You can't see them because it's radio. Ice cream. Okay.
Is it
Did you know that if you add
what?
Is it poor man's ice cream?
I don't know what it is, but it isn't ice cream.
Hit the button. Strawberry gelatin to the blender. Pour in hot water. Blend it all very well.
That is Jell-O.
Add sweetened condensed milk.
That doesn't
heavy
go
cream,
in Jell-O.
Cold water. Blend it all again. Transfer everything to a container. Cover it with plastic wrap. Place it in the freezer for 2 hours. Place it in a bowl.
That is Jell-O.
Whip it until it doubles in volume. Transfer it back to the container and return it to the freezer for 2 hours. You'll get a delicious homemade strawberry ice cream.
That is frozen Jell-O.
It's frozen Jell-O. Yeah.
Okay.
That is not ice cream.
Okay. That is a misnomer. That is the recipe for poor man's, it's either poor man's or lazy man's ice cream. It's meant to be a substitute for people who could not afford churns, but had the ability to either have a hand whisker or something like that to whisk stuff. It's an old recipe. Bill and Dee Hollis has done it. That is actually a thing that exists. Is it actual ice cream? No, I agree with you. But it's meant to be a substitute.
Okay. So this is one of these things where I'm going to be pedantic because I can. And I refer you to Melissa Clark, New York Times, master ice cream recipe. Simple, right? Simple. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but it's basically you make a custard, right? And then you add whatever flavorings you're going to add to it and you freeze it. It's not that hard to make a freaking custard. You really it's just eggs and sugar and cream and a little bit of milk in a pan. And you follow a couple instructions and it is just not that hard. It's not that hard.
It's not about hard.
And if it's too hard for you, just buy ice cream.
Harry, it is about access. It's called poor man's because some of them did not have access to things as easily as eggs and stuff like that.
If you were rationing like during wartime or something and you didn't have like the right, e-ticket for eggs, I could totally see making mock ice cream out of it. But I don't see the point of it otherwise.
That is when it came out. That is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes.
Like, I understand where you're coming from. I get that. But at the same, it was from 49. Bill and Dee Hollis actually did a video on it. It's a very similar recipe. I understand it's not ice cream. I get that. I understand you can follow her recipe. That is not who that recipe is for.
But just for the record, I wholeheartedly endorse the New York Times master ice cream base recipe that Melissa Clark is presenting here. And you can get a PDF of it online. It is a very, very, very good recipe for proper ice cream the way you're supposed to make it. And I've actually used this several times, and it's pretty much flawless. It's a great recipe. And she even goes so far as to, she'll make this, and then she'll be like, oh, well, if I screwed up, I'm going to run this through a sieve afterwards. Because, sometimes bad things happen, and there's lumps in it. Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Here.
My memories of making ice cream were, I remember making sherbet was easier because it was less viscous. And so the blades went through the mix easier, and my arm didn't get as tired. I turned the crank all through childhood, all summer long, making ice cream.
I actually have the ice cream maker that we used as when I was a kid with the crank and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way in hell I'm going to use it, but I cannot bring myself to get rid of it.
No,
it's just
for sentimental reasons.
Yeah, I know. You can only keep so much sentimental stuff around.
No. You just get a bigger place.
Oh yeah, just keep. Yeah, I'm sure the real estate people would love that. I wanted to show you. Actually, I have a recommendation because I don't always think everything has to be fancy. I'm really not that guy. Let me recommend. Let's see.
No. Serenity missed the popcorn. Play her the popcorn.
No.
We have to rewind.
No, we don't.
I
I just need to make sure I'm not about to dox myself. Pretty close. Okay. Let's see if I could find a way to do this that isn't going to dox me. Okay. Everybody say hi to Jack.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Jack. And we'll find out that you are actually David Miscavige.
Okay, let's see. We can do this. I think this will be okay. Okay, so this book right here by Anne Byrne. I remember we were talking about Hummingbird Cake after the last show.
Yep.
Same author who wrote American Cake. But this book is the book for everybody who's not me. 175 cake recipes, and they all start with cake mix. So it's just how to take a cake mix and zhuzh it up to make it good. That's all this book is. It's a bunch of tested recipes by somebody who knows what they're doing to make easy cakes using a cake mix that don't suck.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Did I find that? Is that the sweet spot for the peoples? I'm not being a complete elitist. I understand ice cream needs to be made properly, but if you want to make a cake out of cake mix, this is the book for you. This is an excellent book, and I endorse any book that Anne Byrne writes.
And you know what? Since
your real name in real life is Anne Byrne?
It is not Anne Byrne.
No. And
I'll
since Harry tried to hurt me tonight, I'm gonna dox him and say he's Gabe Newell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so you know how men are pigs sometimes, Serenity?
Women are too, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So on Mugshotties,
hello.
This chick showed up. So 2 counts of conspiracy to supply cocaine, cannabis, and ketamine, and conspiracy to conceal, disguise, convert, transfer, or remove criminal property. She was part of an organized drug ring in UK and worked with outside drug cartels. She coordinated the movement of over 600 kilograms of cocaine. That's a ton in the US. 70 kilograms of cannabis and 96 kilograms of ketamine. Okay. Now, as you can probably
need a roommate.
$15 million worth of cocaine.
Now, this is an organized young lady. You have got to be seriously organized. So it turns out she actually was a Love Island contestant at one point.
Shocker.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But the
comments
from the men are great. 17 counts of overusing Botox on the lips. Okay. There's a whole bunch of guys who think they can fix her, which is great, right?
Yeah.
Here she is from Love Island, but most of these guys are all saying, yeah, this sounds great. So she has money then?
I can help her. I can fix her.
I love the guys who are like, her lips are disgusting. It's like, that wouldn't stop you. Nice try, though.
Yeah. She's got excellent program management skills. Yeah.
Yeah, they would.
I don't want to date her. I want to hire her.
That is valid. That is valid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's looks like a competent
Black Jesus. I got this one, fellas. I can fix it.
Yeah. Black Jesus.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
She doesn't look
concerned. Yeah.
Yeah. Innocent. She's a keeper. Hell, I can't stress this highly enough. Yes. Was she struggling at drugs in her lips? Yeah. Come on, guys. Just say no to drugs every time. But it's funny when a pretty face shows up on Mugshotties, people's criticals, their standards really got lower.
What country was she busted in?
In the UK.
Live Island's UK thing, really.
Don't let her go.
Yeah, but she probably travels a lot.
Yeah.
Don't let her go.
But women are just as bad, because the one hot guy who had tattoos on his face, who became a big model, the panting after him was pathetic. I was just like, God damn, everyone, can you calm down?
Women are usually fine, but when you guys, I mean, collectively, not you personally, when women get weirdly thirsty over bad boys and it's really public, it's very unsettling.
I don't understand it. I don't like bad boys. I've never liked
It's
bad
like,
boys.
ooh, look, he's a sexy criminal. Ooh,
Ew, no, I don't want to fix you. That's your job, not mine.
Yeah.
You want to change.
So, remember there was a big avalanche in an alpine village in Switzerland not too long ago? I have the footage of that.
Oh, that's fun.
Remember we had a pyroclastic flow last time and I was complimenting that guy on the good instincts to get the hell away from it.
What? Driving past all the dead people? That was
So here's that glacier, because they evacuated the town because they knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, you probably want to get out of the way of this.
So there aren't people in the way of this, but this is what happened after they evacuated. Look
I
at
think
this.
that village has been there for like a few hundred years, I think.
What was it that fell? Was it a
glacier?
Part of a glacier broke off and started this massive
I understand
avalanche.
it was part of a glacier. What? Okay.
Nature's scary as hell.
Like a calving.
That's
event,
ice and
or
then
was
catching debris
Yeah.
on the way down.
That will ruin your whole day.
What caused the event? That's what I'm trying to.
Oh, probably global warming.
As usual.
Or the patriarchy. No, I mean, it's just
Glaciers
nature
do
doing
this
what
shit.
it does sometimes.
Yeah, this is glaciers.
Yeah,
just
but
do this shit.
That village had been there for a couple hundred years, so it's kind of valid while people are like, something weird.
Well, you do see these videos every now and then of some big arch rock thing just collapsing. I mean, these things happen eventually.
Yeah.
It's just that in human timescales, we don't always see these things happen. But this time we did.
Oh, we have video now, too.
Boy.
Oh, everybody's not seeing this because I'm stupid. God damn. Okay, so we have to play it again. Did people not see the mugshotties thing, too, that I was showing?
Nothing to see here saying no video for chat.
Okay.
But
I'm
they
stupid.
did see, at least at 12:45, Quippers was screaming, undo this from my brain. So I'm assuming they saw that video. They probably just didn't see mugshotties.
So they didn't see her. So, oh gosh, you guys need to yell at me more. This is the woman that we were talking about in the mugshotties thing.
All right, now I see the video.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. You guys are supposed to yell at me when I screw up the video.
He's a blatant.
Yeah. Okay.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, now I see the video.
There's.
We made it a long way on technical excellence, and then right in the last part of the show, I completely screwed up.
Well, to be fair, you are still learning Zoom stuff. So
to be fair, I am juggling about 8 applications.
You made the catch.
Yeah.
You made the catch.
Well, I did decide instead of agonizing over the spreadsheet for another hour just to try to get some sleep, and I'm drinking a lot of caffeine. So if I seem different, now you know why. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. What else do we need to do before we go? Let's see. I've got a Shatner thing. That can wait. That can wait for Sora. We're probably going to have Sora next week, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Okay.
If she's not too tired.
Well, these things happen. Let's see. AI vision. Oh, well, we do have a thing I wanted to mention on quantum computing. But even that can wait. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of
only 5 years away.
Actually, less than that. Not being sarcastic, even. Let me show you this because I think this is actually a nice story. You still with me, Functional?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Viral California breakfast sandwich loved by Will Ferrell finds a permanent home. So during the pandemic, this woman started making this breakfast sandwich. And because of the pandemic and the fact that she's in California, she couldn't have this little business that she was running out of her home. I mean, the hustle is real, okay?
Mhm.
So she would lower the sandwiches down to people 4 stories down in this red bucket. So this red bucket has become the symbol of her thriving business now. So she's taken this thing that she started during the pandemic, okay? So there's a red bucket hanging next to a yellow neon sign that screams breakfast sandwiches at the modest 250 square foot Calabama stand in Hollywood. To a casual passerby, it might look like the bucket was placed there by mistake or perhaps an item left outside for cleaning. But the red bucket is actually the entire reason founder Kara Heitewanger, that's a great name, was able to open her brick and mortar serving her version of handheld breakfast deliciousness last November. When the pandemic struck in 2020, Heitewanger, originally from Alabama and a longtime Los Angeles restaurant vet who'd been running breakfast sandwich pop-ups for years, decided to try something as a last-ditch effort to make some income. Customers could order her signature Calabama breakfast sandwiches via Instagram and then pick them up at her apartment. The novel twist, she lowered the bucket from her 4th-story fire escape to the ground in that same red bucket that now hangs at the restaurant. I love this story.
That's awesome.
It's not, and it's good. It's wholesome, but it's not saccharine.
Yeah.
But, this is really
kind of wonderful. The hustle, like you said, is real.
The hustle is really good. I was just trying to survive, and it was my pivot to do so. Okay, Calabama breakfast drops quickly, became a phenomenon, Hattawanger's sandwiches sold out quickly every time. Halle Berry, Will Ferrell, yada, 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 right? Everything was successful. Now she's got a brick and mortar. And here's the sandwich. Can't be attributed to Bucket. Her breakfast sandwich is a thing of wonder, a thoughtful composition of flavor and texture. It has fluffy layered eggs, sliced avocado, cheddar, grilled onions, and house-made aioli on heavily griddled bimbo bread.
Bimbo bread, hell yeah.
With the option of adding bacon.
Damn right.
And
bimbo
you know what?
Bread makes it.
You don't get to do substitutions. Here's your sandwich.
No, fuck you.
Here's your sandwich. This is what it looks like.
Sit your ass down.
I think even a Japanese person would probably go, oh, this is good. Look at that layered egg and all that sort of stuff. This is simple food, really well made.
Yeah.
By a woman who has a lot of hustle and, put herself out there. I like everything about this story.
Yes, including the sandwich.
A lot of freaking care and love goes into the breakfast sandwich. I defend my menu a lot because it's simple. We're doing one thing really well. If you like a bacon, egg, and cheese, this is the best one because we're doing a really fluffy egg. We're spreading the bread from corner to corner with handmade aioli. The bacon is cooked a certain way, very crispy. The onions are cooked a certain way, very well done.
The pigs are slaughtered in an ethically humane way.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah. My thing is with breakfast sandwiches is that you can't really go wrong with the ingredients, but it can still be lazy or sloppy.
Damn right.
People will say that they can make a bacon, egg, and cheese at home. They go try and make it, but it won't be the same.
Exactly.
No. Yeah, so this is her California, Alabama hybrid breakfast sandwich.
I mean, bimbo bread makes it Alabama.
Yep.
110%.
Yeah, I think this is a great story and a nice story to end on.
Yeah.
We feel good?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about the little technical hang up there. That was, sorry, I don't like to screw up those things, but one of these days we'll get this right. One of these days.
You did a great job. You made a save.
No, it was good.
Got it done.
And don't worry, Jack, I saw your message. You can come join us, pretty much anytime. So, hey, maybe we'll even drag Kefki in here. That would be fun. We could do a whole show about barbecue, and then she'll never come on again.
And Jack, we can just do a bunch of food recipes that'll make you, Functional, and Harry cry, and I will live for it.
Jello is not ice cream. Anyway,
poor man's ice cream.
Any final thoughts, Functional?
No.
Serenity?
Nope, I'm good.
Scap?
Proud and happy.
All right. Thank you all. Good night, everybody.
I finally get
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Be safe. Don't be